Greetings. You have reached Optimize Her Too right on our YouTube channel. We are so thankful that you came to join us because we're bringing a really big personality with both Quincy Nichols of experiencecoaching.com and myself, Barbara E. Ringrose. I'm the founder of Wow Women Optimizing Women. You can view my website at wowwomenus.com, and you can see Quincy at her website, experience-coaching.com. So all kinds of crazy things come along the way, and some of the things we'll be discussing on this podcast are sure to educate, elevate, and empower you, because we're going to be talking about something a little bit unique here, something we haven't quite done, I don't think, in our episodes thus far. It's about bravery, because without bravery, life is boring. So the question is, where are you holding back? And I even have to add why. So with this Optimize Her podcast, we have our special guest, Deb Drummond. And Deb brings this huge personality along with her, as I just mentioned to her as we were getting started. And I really want to feel that she's going to deliver some amazing stuff to you all. So welcome again to Optimize Her Too. Deb, this is exciting. We're in this business lifestyle mode and so forth. And I know you're going to bring everything back. But first, before we step over in your direction, we're going to bring Quincy in here. Quincy, hey, how are you doing? And good to have you both here with me, ladies. Optimize Her Too.
Barb, thanks so much. I am so excited to have Deb as our special guest feature today because, as you know, I am passionate about making sure that women unleash the truth that transforms the moments that matters most to them. And when I think about Deb and the work she's doing around bravery and being bold and bringing your best bold self, I think this is going to be an excellent complement between our focus of our podcast and also her audiences. So this sounds like a match made in heaven, excuse me. So let me do this. Let me introduce Deb and bring her also on for the guest. Our guest today, Deb Drummond, knows what it means to move energy forward and move forward. She's built 7 international companies, inspired thousands across the globe, and created powerful movements that have reached over 350 million people. Wow. And what makes this conversation so powerful is that Deb isn't just about success talk. She's about bravery and what it really takes to live it. So I'm excited for the conversation. Deb, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh my gosh, ladies, this is the best part of it. Isn't the best part of it getting to know other women doing really good human things in the world? I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Excellent.
So it's like what it means to be brave in business and in life. So how to stop letting go of fear. I know I talk about fear myself because of fear I had in my previous past and so forth. And you subconsciously hold that fear, subconsciously hold you back. And how saying yes can completely change your path. I hear a lot. We need to learn as women to say no more often, but you're saying something that's quite contradictory. You say, hey, you need to say yes more often.
Wow.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree to that. And I agree to it in the sense of, I'm going to give you an example. So we put a compilation together of, let's just say, a lot of women. There's 262 cool women in there. The criteria was gumption. And, so I had the pleasure of talking to a lot of women, and I do every day, just like I get to hang out with you ladies here. And so, the compiler to the book, she was like, okay, there's a blank page before the book, and we were just on our second revision. And she said, what do you want to put on there? Like, what is your, she was looking for a paragraph, or she was looking for that. And I was like, let's just put bravery is love. And she's like, got it. I think bravery is part of the elixir of courage. I think bravery is part of the elixir of, if you want to just do the whole Nike thing, just do it. I think being brave is the place where you're sitting at the decision making. Yes, we're told to say no a lot, but saying no can also be a brave move, right? I just shared with you an invitation that I have to something that could possibly be life-changing, and I have to make that decision. And it's interesting that I'm even at the stage in my business where I start to make decisions where I wouldn't be jumping and running and buying that plane ticket. And so I think bravery is trusting. I think bravery is being willing to consider instead of saying no before you consider it. Like, bravery is an activation that fills you with courage, or inspiration or, like I said, activation. I think because when I think about bravery, I think about an action, a way of action, whether it's a decision and a different decision, whether it's a decision to go this way or not. Some of the most bravest moments I've had has been saying to a friend of mine, I gotta go. Like, I can't
Mhm.
have this conversation any longer. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, there can be things where, family members or people that are really close, or me and my son get along, blissfully. But let's face it, we're mom and son, and he has a business and I have a business. And I remember, I remember one time he was about 12 years old, and we were going to, I was going through a marital status change, which means so was he. You
Yeah.
know, and he was, finding some solace in some games. And so one of the games he wanted to get, because I was a not game family, I said, okay. And I said, I want to put on parental control. Well, he lost his mind. He's like, what are you talking about? You don't trust me. Oh, da 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 da. Sorry, ladies. I just dropped that there. And he
A
said,
quick
you don't trust
recovery.
me. Yeah, you don't trust me and all that stuff. And I remember looking at him and saying, I love you enough to let you hate me for a while.
Mhm.
And that was so hard for me to do. Like, I knew he was hurting. I was hurting. He wanted to play this game. Did I really need parental control on it? And I was like, looked at the game and I'm like, yeah, I do. And then I said, just let me know when you want to go for dinner. You know what I mean? That was such an act of bravery for me because it felt really risky. Sorry
Yeah.
about
Oh,
that.
yeah. And he
And
could
I
have
I
really
love
hated you for that.
Absolutely. And I think, what I pull from that is that bravery oftentimes we think about it as this one grand feat, right? That we do.
Hmm.
But I truly believe it's the incremental small decisions that you make time over time that really build up that bravery muscle, right? That courage. So then you're really walking around with true confidence because you've seen yourself
Hmm.
do or say no to hard things that maybe don't value align or don't align with your integrity, your business goals, whatever those may be. So those are brave decisions that you're
Hmm.
making to keep your main thing the main thing, right? As we always
Yep.
talk about. So that's where you are now. But can you think about maybe early in your business when you had to be brave and maybe you weren't ready?
Oh, that never stops applying. Can we just, like, let's just debunk that myth? Like, come on, there. So I always say to people, you're at two places in your business. You're where you want to be, or where you want to be, right? You're where you wanted to be or where you want to be. And so I talk about how we're always going back to work on the foundation. On the inside of our family, we call it steak and lobster, rice and peas. So
Hmm.
when I was decided to, start the women's channel, I'm like, rice and peas. You know what I mean? We were at the beginning of a learning curve. We were at the beginning of a financial investment. We were in the I don't know stage, an educated I don't know. But there was going to be unforeseen things. This is
Sure.
a TV channel. If I look at my own resume, it looked like I was qualified to take the leap, but I wasn't qualified in relationship to how that leap would turn out. So I think that I, by nature, have put the cart before the horse. And I tell people when they want to be entrepreneurs, I had a very dear friend of like 25 years call me at the end of a very long day, either yesterday or the day before. And I actually checked in with her yesterday, like, are you okay? Because she has this business idea. And she's like, hey, can you help me kind of put this together? And I'm like, well, you need, at the very minimum, you need a landing page, you need this, you need that. Now that's not her thing. And she's like, I go, look, take a deep breath, but this is the way it is. I'm just going to
Yeah.
tell you kind of the way it is for business, right? That's her bravery. And I'm like, and how much money do you have to put into this? Because you're going to put in something that you don't have. So I have been that, and I can say that here I am, right? There's always been rice in our bowl. Sometimes it's had, some protein on it. Maybe it's sometimes not. I don't even know why I'm using food as an analogy today, but
It makes sense.
the,
That's why
Right.
we can
yeah,
relate.
Yeah.
yeah. But I've had to brave up. I grab people to call to brave up. I've got a call next week because I'm going to take a leap in something, and I'm going to go have a conversation with some people that have taken that leap. So I think bravery is from an entrepreneurship or a business. If you have a business or a company, and honestly, if you're in life, but if you are at a risk, if you've decided and chosen a business of risk, which is what entrepreneurship is, then you better get used to the bravery, because you are going to be required to burst through the own way of thinking, to
Oh, yeah.
change your neuronal pathways, to let go of messages that you had. And I'm talking about owning a TV channel, and I'm fully transparent. We did not have growing up. Like I did not come from a place from have. I know what have is. I know what not have is. I know what have is. I know what not has is. I've gone
Right.
through a marital status transformation, you know? So I think that bravery is a major part of the elixir.
I can appreciate that, Deb, and thank you for sharing because I do think sharing all those pieces of your story is also brave, right? Because sometimes there's this facade that is put out by entrepreneurs that everything is going amazingly, like you did it the first time and everything worked. And if you've done it long enough, you learn that no, you get kind of kicked in the teeth a few times until you figure it
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. When people go, I've had so many failed businesses. I don't, or
those are
aspects or
learning
divisions.
opportunities.
Yeah, I'm not a big word. I don't really enjoy that word failed. I think that, for me, I could have gone, okay, and use this as an example. So I always say I could have gone to business school. I didn't go to business school. I didn't take that route. I built my first company in my 20s. Why I'm so shocked that my son did his at 15, I'm not sure. I'm like, what are you doing? But when, but really, I think so. My son was going through some stuff. I told you we were going through a change in our family. And so he was having a conversation with his counselor on the phone because we were during our world health crisis, and that's kind of
Mhm.
how it went. And I was in the other room trying not to listen because it wasn't my job.
Right.
But I overheard him talking about his business to this counselor, and the counselor's like, "Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. So when you can go get your MBA and you can go to business school and you can
Mhm.
do this." And he's like, "No, I'll
Yeah.
just ask my mom."
Yeah.
And I was like,
My
"Okay."
mama
But
bear.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but but it was interesting to hear that because you can go many different routes to get to where you want to go. That just happened to be the route that I went, and that's just the route that he chose to go. But I use that as an example of there's many different ways to get there, and no matter what it looks like on social or what it looks like on our headshots or what have you, I can tell you from someone who's been doing this for a long time, there's some real tears behind those headshots.
Yeah,
I
you're
hear
right.
you, honey pot. And then you're saying about just do it anyway, because you mentioned fear. Here we've mentioned the other F word, failure.
Hmm.
And when some people are overwhelmed with fear, and I remember I had fear, and there were certain moments I can tell you exactly where I was when I discovered I'm not being fearful anymore. But how do you move forward with fear? What do you recommend when you have that doubt, that internal doubt, that red flag that keeps popping up, and we keep like having to wrestle with?
Yeah. So before I went into media, I was in holistic preventative care. And so I
Okay.
had a beautiful health studio and, we did all sorts of things. Like I was really absorbed in health and wealth. It was my first business in my 20s. And I spent a lot of years in that sector. And I used to talk to people like, your body is the most important piece of real estate you will ever own. So go spend the good money on vitamins, go get massaged, go be preventative in your healthcare. It's the same methodology in terms of fear. You're not going to wake up one morning and be able to conquer it all if you've not done the work. And the work is what makes you feel good? Who do you talk to? And when people go, Deb, how have you made it? I go, business advisors, experts, coaches, trainers, therapists, and counselors, because you take yourself to work. And so I think how I can be brave now, or how I can be more brave than I was before, or take higher levels of risks or have more zeros attached to the risk. I remember the first time I risked $100. I still remember.
Yeah.
um, I think that comes from doing things on a continuum like preventative health care, that a lot of times the fear doesn't even come into your mind. You don't even realize that what you've just done, which is interesting because people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. And I have to reflect back and go, I don't think that's big of a deal. And then I have to realize I'm like, oh, that's not something that maybe I would have done 5 years ago, because the preventative formula for being fearful now is to work through the fear you have now. And I can tell you in 5 years, that thing would be like something that you would blow through. But what I use is I am hugely addicted, full on, have no desire to go to a 12-step program about music. Music is my change agent. I can listen to a song. I was listening to Helen Reddy this morning, like, I am woman, hear me roar, because I needed it, right? I needed some Helen this morning. I might need some Simon Sinek this morning. Maybe I need a Brene Brown. Maybe I need the conversation I had right before here was with this incredible spiritualist, and we started dancing the conversation of metaphysics in relationship to the economy. I think that the more I do those things, it prevents me from even having the fear come up, to the point that I'll tell you, the first time my foot was going to go onto a red carpet, I'm standing in the hotel. I'm looking good in my dress. I like my dress. I like my hair. I like my makeup. I got a crew of sisters. My son's in the room. We had just done this incredible day, and we were about to go step on our first formal red carpet. And I'm getting ready. And wouldn't you know it? I mean, I call them goblins. You call them what you want. And I heard out of the left side of my body, I won't tell you what it said, but I will say that it was about, if you took it into its form, you would be like, who do you think you are?
Mm.
And I'm looking in the mirror, and I knew in a nanosecond I needed to, because I was working with a crew of people that were going through that for like the 3 days, because that was my role. And I turned around sidewise and talked to it. And I said something that is not repeatable on air, but I'm like, you can just, and you know
Mhm.
what? It was gone and instantaneously. And I was like, okay. Then I just finished getting ready, and I thought, and I went, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That was really interesting. And I knew what it was, and then it didn't mess with me, and I've never had that problem getting on the red carpet since.
So,
So I'm,
Deb, let me
yeah.
let me ask you this, because this it brings me to something that we were sort of talking about early in the conversation, a little bit offline. You mentioned not letting your subconscious run your life. So what does that
Mhm.
mean? Because it sounds like that was a moment where you took back that control. Can you illustrate for our listeners sort of what does that mean for you, and like what is a practical tip they can do to make sure that they're taking back control in those type of situations?
For me, and I can only
Yes,
talk for myself,
sure.
for me, the conversations that I find that really start to take a hold of me are happening within my head. Like, they're
Mhm.
really conversations that are happening within my head. There's a couple of techniques I've used over the years. So for me, I'm very visual. I'm visual. Like, if you walked into my office, like if I showed you all the little cards I have here in front of my, all this, I receive and I appreciate, all this stuff. You're doing great. I mean, my stuff looks like a Tony Robbins garage sale in here. So one of the things that I do is I literally will envision a stop sign, and I will
Mhm,
talk to myself. I will go to the mirror and go, stop it.
mhm.
Just stop it. I have red lipstick. I was talking to a guy yesterday that uses a felt pen. I go, that'd be so much cheaper. I have a red lipstick, and I'll put it on my mirror, because that's where I get ready in the morning, and I'll put something that I'm working on, or I'll put a goal, or I'll put a powerful statement. I don't deny that the fear is there.
Mhm.
So I don't deny it. And then I make a conscious choice to counter it. That might be calling a friend. It might be writing in my journal. It might be taking 15 minutes out. It might be going and listening to someone. So for me, if I wake up and my chatter is loud, I will go listen to either a song or something really powerful from a motivational standpoint. I work really well with adamancy. Like, when something's really adamant, it's non negotiable. So I'll go listen to Steve Harvey tell me, you ain't got because you don't ask. You know what I mean? Or I'll go listen to a Navy SEALs thing that's just like, pull it up, sweetheart. And I will knock it out of my consciousness and become aware. If I hear that coming back over and over again, then I know it's time that I need to go talk to somebody, or go have someone mirror something back for me. And
Mhm.
every single year, and leave it on your desk. I have it on my desk every single year. I write a yearly accomplishment list. I made my son do it in this first year of business. Go look at that accomplishment list and go, no one is crazy enough other than me to check off those boxes. And you have to really learn to self affirm.
Mm. Thank you for
That's
that. That's
cool.
powerful.
You spoke about how many people you talk to. I think I talk to a lot of people, but you out far, you said in your numbers here in the beginning, how many different people you meet. And I'm sure a lot of those are women, Deb. So why is it you feel so many women are hesitant? What's holding them back for them to then go forward? Do you find there's like one, two, or three different things, or maybe 10 different things that hold us back?
Yeah, I think one of the things that holds us back is our own personal neuronal wiring, right? Where did you come from? Did you come from a place where dot, 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 fill in the blank? I don't think I think women, we bold through our lives. I think, like, just me taking an hour out of my life right now to have that conversation and get transparent and feeling safe enough to be transparent with where we are and where we want to go. But the woman I was just speaking to, we're both, people would look on the outside like, you guys got it going on. And we got to talk about what wasn't going on. So I
Mhm.
think that, and I say this and I say it lovingly. Okay, look, do not go to your bank manager and talk about your marriage. And what I mean by that is if
Okay.
you have stuff going on, go talk to somebody that is par or better. That is
Yeah.
Mhm.
par or better. I remember I was in a relationship and I realized, oh my gosh, my girlfriend keeps telling me that, I should stay and work it out. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's never had a marriage last or a relationship last. What am I doing? And I don't, but we tend to go to where we're comfortable. So I
Yes.
think you have to go to where someone knows more and wants to go where you want to go. Two, people live with that in their head, right? Like they keep their fears to themselves because they look at people's outsides. Don't ever compare your insides to other people's outsides. So I think it's just about sharing that, or they've had experiences sharing with it and having it shut down, not getting the advice that they want, which is why professional business help is critical. Like coaches aren't growing by exponential for no reason. It's because we all need them. You
Right.
ladies are coaches. People should be calling you left, right, and center. Like that's what we're here for. I think the other part of it, like I said, there's the neuronal, there's the comfort zone in terms of getting real, there's the comparing to other people, but you need to get yourself into a community where I don't even, I mean, collaboration is a word that's thrown so much now, authenticity and
Yeah.
collaboration, but
Mhm.
really it is a tribe that when I help you, it doesn't necessarily have to come back this way, but it's like I talk about how we help you, and somehow by helping you, it helps them. Like it's more of a solidarity, global thought to it. And it's being around a community of people that'll give you gem drops that will allow you that process and then have patience. Like seriously, I'm a couple decades in this party.
Mhm.
And, you know,
And I
Yeah.
think that's hard too because some people also get so caught up in their day 1 versus your day 10,000, right? And they feel as though they should be doing the exact same thing. Yeah,
yeah.
thank you for that share. Go ahead, Barb. Sorry about that.
No, no, no. I just find all this fascinating. Talking about bravery, fear, failure, those are things. And then what is it that hold people back? Because I don't think we can talk about it enough. And the resources that they had and collaboration versus corroboration. They are very, very different things. And sometimes you do have to corroborate with people. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily a collaboration there, but encouraging women to start saying yes. And this
Mhm.
is one of the things that I go with a little bit of trepidation here, because what happens when women begin saying yes to opportunities even when they feel uncomfortable. And it sounds like you've been there and you keep rinsing and repeating as you're going through your career.
Well, I would say that you get look at we're at a whole different level, ladies, and I'm sure you can relate. And the world is full of not only just opportunities, but resources to help you make decisions and opportunities. Like, I mean, Barbara, you've been to Vancouver. We started the first women's networking group in my house Sunday at 2. People threw $2 in. It probably was still paper, not even coin.
Yeah.
And we all helped each other and bring your kids if you got them. We're like, okay, what are we gonna do?
Mhm.
And we all became, we were all entrepreneurs, and there's a good chunk of us that, became considerable entrepreneurs. And so to say the resources that are available now, I mean, to make a decision now is, I don't want to sound 90, but there's so many resources. And I say go to a live resource when you are making a decision. I know that, and I'm not anti AI, so just put that on the shelf, whoever's listening to me, right? It's like, yeah, but you can just chat GPT it. And I'm like, yeah, but chat GPT isn't going to call you on your stuff. ChatGPT isn't going to say, maybe because you came from a dysfunctional family, you're fearful that, if you say no to that person or no to that offer, that you can't say no to them because it's going to feel like they're going to reject you and it's going to throw you into some therapy. Like honestly. So I say, like, that's why that live interaction is so important. But I say yes a lot because I have built those muscles. I said yes in the beginning and I figured it out. Yes in the beginning and I figured it out. There wasn't a lot of resources, but now there's so many resources. If you get an opportunity, people can give testimonials. People can give you statistics of their business. You can ask for all sorts of things. I don't think there's a resource that I need that I haven't been able to find through, collegial and you can go and use things to research, whether you're looking into AI or what have you. But when you really need to make decisions and you're stuck in that place, I think that before you say yes and before you say no, go bounce it off someone who is educated in that arena, or go and have a conversation with the person making the offer. It is okay to go to your doctor and ask for a second opinion. It's okay to go to someone, like if someone's come to me and said, I'd love to be on your stages, and I'd be like, okay, great, and having that conversation. And it's okay for them to say to me, oh my gosh, I'm super scared to speak on a stage with a celebrity.
Yeah.
Like tell your fear to the person so they can help you make that decision. And a good business person's going to say, well, look, if that's concerning to you, let's make sure we do an interview. Let's
Mhm.
not put you on the stage full game. Let's have spend some time, because you'll probably be able to work it out with the situation at hand. And if not, there's people there. So I think that there's very few reasons to not say yes if you've done some diligence, if that's what you need. And sometimes you have opportunities that come around that you just got to go with your gut, right?
That's
You
very
I
just got to
good.
go.
That's very good. I like that.
I can absolutely appreciate that, Deb, because I think there's a lot of talk sometimes about sort of quiet quitting in the corporate world, but I think we also see it as entrepreneurs sometimes, right? And where you just start saying no to things because you don't want to do it, you don't want those stretch moments. The growth moments are inherently going to be uncomfortable. And so I love your idea of say yes and continue to figure it out, right? Because that's how a lot of the companies that are the great companies that we talk about now, they also did that. They said yes and continued to figure it out, right? Iterative versions of making ourselves better. So I truly appreciate that. I think that's going to resonate with a lot of our listeners.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of, the issue that messes people up a lot around is money when it
Yeah.
comes to
Oh, I
opportunities,
think so too.
right?
Yeah.
And you've got to, like, when I had the first offer to go down to the gifting suite, Oscars, or whatever, I mean, that came within 48 hours. And I think I had like 36 hours to make the decision and 72 hours to get that money together. And, I'm in Canada, and that was an American offer. So that was a whole other
Sure.
conversation. And did I brave up and start to negotiate and do the best that I could with what I had? Absolutely. But I had to get that money wired in 72 hours, and I didn't have it. And then all of a sudden it got to her. So when you go yes and you go all in 2 feet, you change your mindset from, oh my gosh, I don't know, into I have to. And
Yes.
sometimes when people have their back against the wall, those I have tos, they're the best thing ever because they override your neuronal garbage.
That is so spot on because I can think of a time there's a gal that I'm working with now, and she's at a space to where it's time to bring on some help in her business,
Hmm.
right? And she's so concerned. Well, there's still some inconsistencies in my business and all of these things. And I said, once you bring that person on to help you, number one, it's a small fee. They're going to be doing the thing that they do great, right? So that way you're getting that time back to continue to go grow your business in a different way. And also
Hmm.
when you have your back up against the wall, you need to meet either that payroll or that, that payment to that person, it makes you work in a different way as compared to if it's just yourself, you give yourself the excuses, you'll replan, you'll do it over. But there's some momentum that happens when you say, you know what, I got to figure my way out of this situation. So I can appreciate that.
Oh man, you hear it all the time, right? It's so tough. It's like, when I have the money, I'll do it. I'm like, honey, unless you do it, you won't have the
You
money.
won't have it, right? Or you've
So
had it
figure it
and you
out.
spent it on something else because you prioritized something else at that time.
I tell people to go listen to Gary Vee.
Mm,
Honest to God, and he should give me shares in his company, because if you go talk to him now, he loves talking to that 20 to 30-year-old sector, 35-year-old
sure.
sector, and clearly I'm not that.
Me
But
neither.
when I was hitting number one in sales in a company in 10 countries, and people say, you should do social media. You do so well. I'm like, I'm number one. I think I'm good. But what I was doing was listening and learning about social prior to the world having to flip to social, right? So my form of media was trade shows. And I have listened to him a million times say, you need 6 figures? Go garage sailing. And he'll tell you how to do it. He's like, walk around your house. I had a woman who wanted to be in our stage, and she's like, oh my gosh. She goes, I wanted so bad I can taste it. I go walk around your house. I mean, this is, you probably, someone might think, oh my gosh, you're so awful telling someone. I go, how much stuff do you have in your house that you can just go throw up on whatever, Facebook, da 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 da, or do whatever and sell it, and do whatever you need to do for your business. I don't care if it's speaking on our stage or business cards or a coach. Like, how far in are you willing to go to, like, how far are you willing to go to your dream? And that
Hmm.
woman was on our stage in 3 months and rocked it and has never looked back since.
There you go.
That's so cool. That's a
You
cool
just
story.
need that one
A lot of
inciting
times we use
incident.
analogies, and some of the things that we've done here today with you, Deb, is using analogies, and we talk about the journeys, the highway we travel, the walking, the pavement, and so forth, and the road through life. And it's kind of like the book analogies that we use, your final chapter, your first chapter, the pages. And we refer to them regularly in business. And with women, why is it that so many women write just a few pages and then they give up?
Mm.
It's interesting. I'm going to tell you, this is going to sound very, maybe almost elitist, and it's not.
Okay.
I say this from the bottom of my heart as someone who's been in the business of women for over 20 years. The rise is here, by the way. People are like, "Ooh, women are really rising." I'm like, "No, no, honey, we rose."
Hmm.
And you can tell, and I can give you a million different examples. Um, some women that are writing a few pages and giving up, I would say maybe they're writing a few pages and taking a breath. So I would say don't look at it like you're giving up. You're letting the creativity fuel, or
Mhm.
write with somebody about why you're putting it aside. Have you hit an emotional place in your book that you are psychologically having to digest? If you're doing a memoir, don't ever do a memoir without a counselor, ever,
Mm.
ever, no matter whether you had a unicorn childhood or not. But I would say that I don't see that. And I think what happens is as people start to rise, that you get into an energetic community of people that are going to hold you, even when, and because I'm in a community, right? So I can say that. And so get into a good community, people. That's where an accountability partner comes in.
Oh,
That's where
yeah.
someone you can be
Yeah.
honest to come in. But I honestly, I don't see that. I see the opposite right now. I see women getting offered so many incredible opportunities. I mean, I see women are coming to me and they're like, okay, I got to decide which one to do. That's the flip, and that's the bonus, and that's the get to after writing your third or fourth page. So if someone's putting a book aside, ask yourself why. Do you need a creative breath of fresh air, or did you hit an emotional block? And then make a conscious decision, because if not, that should is going to sit in the back of your friggin' head, and it's going to affect your business
Gonna
esteem. And I
wreck
am
it.
right. Then it's going to make
Yep.
them not be able to go negotiate the next deal because they have this should sitting on their desk that they move over to the other side of the desk, that they put beside their bed, that they put onto the couch. And all it is it's this thing that says, you're not good enough, or whatever the
Hmm.
frig your story is. But make a conscious decision if you're putting something aside to consciously decide when you're going to pick it up so you don't crap on yourself the whole time.
Well, you just
Wow,
took
Deb.
away my next question,
Oh,
our topic to go into, because of what steps do women want to take away into bravery and into start some simple actions. And it's like take away some of the things in your house to make money to get you where you want to be. Take steps to get some of those little monuments that are sitting around your
Hmm.
house that are reminding you of things that aren't very pleasant, decluttering your closet. We talk about that in essence,
mhm.
saying yes to something new. So you've kind of answered all of that I was going to wrap everything up with today. You've covered so
Oh,
much here.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
I
No,
would like
no,
to
no,
ask this.
that's good. That's
It's
good.
really great. Yeah, it's really, really
Yeah.
great too. And when I think about it, you've given so many sort of actionable steps that the women or people who are listening, right, can take away from this conversation. But I know there's always someone who's sitting and saying, okay, I hear all the action I'm supposed to do, but the mindset isn't there yet. So when you think about it, and as we get ready, to sort of wrap this up, how does mindset play a role in building a life of bravery and action? Where would you ask for them to lean in?
Yeah, it's the number one piece of community that you need to get lined up into. And when I say community, I'm talking about commune with yourself.
Hmm.
So what do you need to listen to? Who do you need to listen to? What's in your earbuds? What are you watching on TV? I
Oh,
had a
yeah.
conversation with the woman before. She doesn't watch the news. So if the news, she doesn't watch the news for certain reasons because it messes with her mindset. So what are you doing? And who do you admire? Like who do you really admire? Obviously, one of the women I admire is Gloria Steinem. Now,
Hmm.
the reason why I started this book of 262 and then decided to do all of the summits, that was because I watched the movie because it got sent to me and I was told to watch it. And if you're into downloads, you'll get that. If not, then you'll think someone showed up and told me to do it. And pretty well was that way. I watched the movie called Seeing All Red. If you are a woman and you believe in accessibility for women, go watch that movie, then go try to give yourself some excuses. It doesn't work because you see people out there that have braved up with kind of bigger pills to swallow, I'll say. Like they were going up against some pretty big stuff. And if you watch that and here's my hashtag, okay? everybody just go take hashtag borrow bravery. You don't have to wait till you have it, till you activate it. So go borrow it from somebody else. If it's a movie, if it's a this, if it's a that. And look at, as long as you stay here, like if your mind just says, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to do this another day, I'm going to brave, I'm going to brave 10%, I'm going to brave 20%. If you stay here long enough, I hate to tell you, you're going to pick it up. And
Yeah.
that's where they talk about the 5 people that you're hanging out with. And we always think it's about money, right? The 5 people you hang out with, you'll end up the equal. My girlfriend says, if you hang out with 5 jerks, you're the 6th. If you hang out with 5 billionaires, you're the 6th. If you hang out with 5 people that are fully brave, living their life, you will be the 6th.
Yes.
But you just have to hang in with the right activities, people, conversations in your head. And if you need help with it, go hire it and get it done. Go get it done.
And that's
Appreciate
what
it.
being brave is all about, just stepping into maybe even a new pair of shoes so you can walk that walk. And you reminded me of something else that's very powerful. It is the company you keep, the sleeping with
Yes.
Mhm.
dogs and fleas, to be with people who are maybe above you. And I don't mean that they're better than you, but they have accomplished more than you. They've been more places than you have. So they end up having you grow more. You have that opportunity as you do that with that group, as opposed to somebody who's going to just bring you down. But optimize her too. That's exactly what we're doing. And we said that in the beginning, which is all about educating, elevating, and empowering other women. And not only are you doing that with women, but you found a place early on during, some challenging times where you found this right steps to take. So you could develop that bravery so you could raise your son in a positive way to introduce the things to him for him to be confident and him to be brave. So congratulations with that, Mama Bear.
Oh, well, thank you. That was interesting. I won't tell you the story of when I told him he was going on a podcast and he was so mad at me. I thought he hung up the phone. Oh my gosh. But they learn by learn.
Mhm.
So then anyways, the next podcast I canceled it and he showed up to do the show and he's like, "What did you do?" I go, "Ain't worth the fight." So you
Yeah.
bet he's never not shown up to a podcast since, right? But
Yep.
yeah, it's good. Thank you. I appreciate that because I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
Well, there you go. Well, thanks again. I think when we look at times in our life and we see those times when we're brave, I want everybody to just listen to Deb. If you want to reach out to Deb, Deb can tell you how to get in touch with her or maybe some exceptional opportunities to join with her in her path and you can join her.
Yeah. You want to
Absolutely.
do that now?
Yeah, if
Absolutely. I
you'd
think you
like.
got some
Okay.
exciting
We're
things
all
going on.
about
Please
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
share. Please
So,
share.
ears.
Okay. Okay. So I did this for a reason because it's very easy to reach me. It's the same as my name. So if you go to debdrummond.com and you scroll down to the bottom of any of the pages, if you like LinkedIn, it's there. If you like Facebook, it's there. If you like Instagram, it's there. If you like and if you like to meet me personally and have a conversation, there's a connect button. And I have to stop saying this on live radio, but there's a connect button that bypasses my team and goes right into my email. And so if you want a conversation about what we're doing, but when you go to debdrummond.com, check out the 262. If you are a woman in business, there's a lot of things that we offer. So if you want to come onto our podcast or our radio show, if you'd like to be on stage and you've never been on before, we got a place for you. If you're a 5-time Emmy Award winner, we have a place for you. And so we're about visibility. If you want to expand and brave up and do an interview on TV, it's no different than doing a Zoom. We're happy to do that. And then I think the biggest piece to it is a lot of what we've been talking today. I think it would be unjust for me to have a media company with all these platforms that are encouraging women and cool dudes to step up and stand up and speak up and show up and all of that and reap the benefits. You're only going to reap the benefits if you know how to do them. I can't tell you how many times people have said I've been on 10, 15, 20 podcasts and no one's called me. So we make a commitment in terms of accessibility to create training so that when you go onto a platform, mine or others, that you're going to be able to do that platform differently. You're going to yield. And when you have a sustained business for us, we feel like a big check mark because we're about empowerment and we've just empowered you to yield. And then the other thing is if you want private personal training in any area of your business and relationship to top performance, I do private coaching on that if you want to hang out for a little bit. But those are some of the things that we offer.
And that's all
Excellent.
the things, right, Quince?
Yeah. All the things, as I like to say, because I think we are oftentimes giving so much more than the quick things that we may talk about. So I am going to make sure that I look into more about you and your ecosystem of women and see, how we can make sure we stay connected because I think there's so much overlap in terms of where we're trying to move forward. And as you say, with the women aren't rising, we've rose, and now it's about just making sure we maintain the momentum and drive
Hmm.
ourselves forward. I can tell you, Deb, this has been a great conversation. And even for our audience, right? If there's something in this episode that really spoke to you, ask yourself, where in my life am I being called to be brave? Think about it seriously. And what would happen if you said yes? Just
Hmm.
stop and give that
I like it.
space.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Deb. Quincy, it is always such an honor and pleasure to be with you here at Optimize Her Too at YouTube. For you people out there, please like, share, follow, come back again. Go to see what the other girls are saying. See what Deb is doing. Follow up with her. Quincy, look at her at experiencecoaching.com. And thank you all again, and stay well.